يا سابغ النعم يا دافع النقم يا نور المستوحشين في الظلام يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. الفاتحة.
Can we start with the salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Right, we've got a lot of bits that we've given out today, but before I start Surah Al-An'am, I'd like you just to have a look at your bookmark. This is a dua for Rajab, okay? I know it's a little bit throwing you out, but I want to connect it to the Quran. So if you look at the beginning, this is what we normally give the children, by the way. So I'd like you to look at the third section where you've got the dua hands. Ya man yu'ti man sa'ala. Can you see that? So in your Qurans, go to Surah number 14, ayah 34. I hope I've got the right number, but it's 1434. At Surah to Ibrahim. You got it? 1434? And if you look at it, it says, وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ. Can you see that? 1434, وَآتَاكُم مِّن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ. I just want to connect it to the Quran. So here Allah is saying, we give you whatever you ask for. And then immediately He will say, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you were to count His bounties, you would not be able to compute them. The first thing is, وَآتَاكُم. Can you see that? And there's a beautiful saying which says, if He gives you what you want, alhamdulillah. If He doesn't, a greater alhamdulillah, because He's giving you what is good for you. Okay? You good? All right. Okay. If you look at the last ayah, أَعْتِنِي بِمَسْأَلَتِي إِيَّاكَ جَمِيعَ خَيْرِ الدُّنْيَا وَجَمِيعَ خَيْرِ الْآخِرَةِ. Do you know the ayah of Quran that we did in Surah Al-Baqarah? And you read it in every kunut. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. Which one is it? Come on. You got that? That was the reason for journaling. Surah Al-Baqarah ayah, go on. 201. 2201. You should have these at the tip of your tongue now. Okay? And if you look at Ayatul Mulk, you will find بِيَدِهِ الْخَيْرِ إِنَّكَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. So I've put 326 on mine. So every time you read the dua, you should be able to connect it to the Quran, any dua for that matter. Turn the page. وَاصْرِفْ عَنِّي, or turn the bookmark. وَاصْرِفْ عَنِّي بِمَسْأَلَتِي إِيَّاكَ جَمِيعَ شَرِّ الدُّنْيَا وَشَرِّ الْآخِرَةِ. Shar in the Quran is about 31 times. But you will find in Surah Al-Falaq and Nas the 5 shars. So look at those shars. Every time you read them, you make a list of those shars here. Because normally, and I'm a koji, right? And I will just pare. And I will say, Dadi ni dua che, Rajab ni dua che. I'm just going to read it after every namaz. Connect it to your Quran, okay? And then you've got the last bit there with the dua hands. وَزِدْنِي مِن فَضْلِكَ يَا قَرِيم. 104 times in the Quran. But you will read it in Surah Al-Jumu'ah. Surah number 62, yeah? ذَلِكَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ يُؤْتِيهِ مَن يَشَاءُ وَاللَّهُ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ. When we do it, we'll go over it. But right now, I would put 62, ayah 4, and I'd put that twice because that comes here. And then finally, what is known as Isme A'adham. You hold your chin, you know that? Imam Sadiq says, hold your chin with your left hand. Harim shaybati al-nar. But look at the Asma al-Husna uses. Ya dhal jalali wal ikram. The Prophet said, anybody who recites this before hajat should have no doubt in their mind that their hajat will be fulfilled. Which surah is it? Surah Al-Rahman. Ayah number 27 and the last ayah. You know what the last ayah is? Come on. There you go. Okay. So 55, 27 and 78. Yeah, sorry, I needed to just go over this so you've got it right. Right, let's go through journaling the Quran. You know the introduction, you know the color directory. Hopefully you now know this as well. وَالْزَمْ قَلْبِي حِفْظَ كِتَابِكَ كَمَا عَلَّمْتَنِي. The Prophet never picked up his Quran without reciting that. Basically, I want to fall in love with the Quran. Are you good with that? Okay. Surah Al-Fatiha. Short focus. By the way, you've also been given a piece of paper like this, which has short focuses on it. And hopefully, like I told you, they dovetail onto each other. And we'll do a session, inshallah, if God gives life, somewhere along the line. So if I said Surah Al-Fatiha, what comes into your head? Summary of the Quran. Are you good with that? Does it come out of your ears? Right. Baqarah, history of faith. I'll add a little bit more. In Surah Al-Fatiha, you say, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Sirat al-ladina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب. We're going to sirat al-ladina an'amta alayhim. The path of those whom you have or whom he has blessed. So the first question the human being asks is, what path is that? So he said, read the rest of my Quran. And the first one is Surah Al-Baqarah. Right, Surah Al-Imran, do you remember the focus that we said? Establishing a Muslim identity. Surah Al-Nisa, in a social environment, in a place which you call a Muslim community, how do you manifest that identity? Okay, we did Surah Al-Ma'idah. Do you remember what Ma'idah was about? It was a continuation of social values, but it was also the perfection of religion. Are you good with that? So today we're going to start with Surah Al-An'am, right? So Surah Al-An'am is in essence the largest Makkan surah, if I can call it, that was revealed with 70,000 angels all in one discourse. If you look at the rest of the Quran, you will find ayat revealed here and there, right? This is the only surah that is revealed as one long discourse, 70,000 angels. That's why you're told that if you cannot verbalize yourself, if a child is not speaking, if you think that there is an issue with your child or yourself for that matter, recite Surah Al-An'am. Now most people say, if I finish reciting Surah Al-An'am, whatever problem there is will go away. That's why it's so long, right? But try and recite it, even a little bit at a time. Recite it on some water, and then obviously you can put it with the water that you serve the family, okay? It literally reinforces these central ideas. So if you look at your short focuses here, you've got it here, Surah Al-An'am is literally the practicalities of Tawheed. You see what people did, even though they became Muslims, some of them didn't, but they stuck to their old habits. We're no different. Sometimes we do things without understanding because our fathers and our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers did them. And these people, what they did with An'am was, they said, well, this meat is halal for this person, this meat is not halal for this, for the women it's all right, for the children it's not all right, whatever the case might be. But they made up their own rules. And sometimes we do that too, right? I'm not going to say them because I'm a Koji and I'll get Natbar soon, okay? So Surah Al-An'am, you really need to focus on this surah to know what we're talking about, okay? So let's just go a bit further. Now let's just go into the ayat that we're going to highlight. First of all, is the first ayah. Now if you look at the first ayah, it starts with Alhamdulillah. Now if you look at the Quran, there are 5 surah that begin with Alhamdulillah. You all know Surah Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Then there's Surah Al-An'am. Then there's Surah Al-Kahf, Surah number 18. Then there's Surah number 34, which is Surah Al-Sabah. And then there's Surah Al-Fatir. In Quran City, we've put it as Hamidat Crescent. Hamd is praise and thanks, both together, right? They're phenomenal surahs, but let's start off with this one. If you look at the ayat here, 1, 2, and 3 literally talk about Allah. So if you look at the whole Quran in essence, the central theme of the whole Quran is La ilaha illallah. That's it. That's the central theme. If you look at Nabuwa and Imama, which you have as divine guidance, they're there to reinforce that. They're the ones who brought that message down. And then, if I can say, it transitions onto accountability. If you believe in God, you believe in accountability, which is Qiyamah, which are the three usuls. You have Tawheed and Adala go together, Nubuwa and Imama go together, and then you have Qiyamah. I know you learned it as 5, but it's just let's stick to that. Now let's look at this. Alhamdulillah, it's talking about Allah. It's introducing Him as Tawheed. خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَجَعَلَ الظُّلُمَاتِ وَالنُّورِ. 2 words you have to highlight here. Khalaqa and Ja'ala. Khalaqa, in essence, he will talk, whenever he talks about tangible creation, he will use khalaqa. Whenever he talks about intangible stuff, things that you can't touch, he will use Ja'ala. Keep that in mind throughout the Quran. Khalaqa and Ja'ala. So he's telling you he made the intangible and he made the intangible. Now the second, can you see? هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن طِينٍ. Immediately khalaqa, is tangible. It's something there. So now he's saying teen is moisturized soil. Now he says he made you out of the soil that had moisture in it. And those of you who know any bit of science, I don't know much, but if you're anything to do with medicine, you'll tell you most of your body is water. That's why it has such an effect. We'll talk about that some other time. ثُمَّ كَذَا عَجَلًا وَعَجَلٌ مُسَمَّى. He's talking about 2 ajals. Now ajal is a deadline. He's talking about 2 deadlines. The first ajala, is talking about death. That's your first deadline. وَعَجَلٌ مُسَمَّى. Musamma means something that is repeated continually. If I can say, it's very famous, and if I can say continuously, we'll talk about it. It doesn't talk about your and my death because they're individuality, right? But ajalun musamma is a repeated deadline, which is the day of Qiyamah. So if I were you, I'd highlight ajal and put death there, and ajalun musamma, and I would put in there the day of Qiyamah. Now he says, in the huthumma antum tamtirun, and even then, tamtirun is doubt about something that is actually a matter of fact. Everybody here will say death is a fact. Agreed or not agreed? Yes? You know we're all going to die. Yet, you will think, I will not die. Maybe I will live a little longer than everybody else. Inside the human being, knowing it is a fact, will think, not me, somebody else. It's the way we're built in here, right? So here he's trying to say that they will still dispute. I will live. The Prophet may die, but I will live, right? Maybe I will live to be 150, right? 6:3. Now he talks about وَهُوَ اللَّهُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ. So first we saw the creation of tangible and intangible. Then we saw 2 deadlines, death and Qiyamah. Now we will see he knows my intentions, he knows my actions, and he knows the consequences. Because he says, وَهُوَ اللَّهُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ يَعْلَمُ سِرَّكُمْ. He knows your secrets. وَجَهْرَكُمْ. He knows your actions, or he knows what you make apparent. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُونَ. And he knows the consequences. When you and I repeat things, when you say, I'm doing dua, I'm asking for this, it's really not to tell him, he knows. It's to tell myself, it is to verbalize to myself. Shaban is coming up, maybe you will write arizas. Arizas are there to tell you and me what we want to write to Allah with the wasila of Imam Zamana, okay? Are you good with that? So the 3 things of Allah, what was it? Created tangible and intangible. Number 2, 2 deadlines, death and Qiyamah. That's all we need to know about him. And 3, he knows my intentions, he knows my actions, and he knows my... So the first 3 ayat have literally conceptualized Tawheed as what Tawheed is all about, right? Now we look at 6:12. You got 6:12 there? And by the way, you could put a sticker here with Allah on it in 1, 2, and 3. And you could write Allah in 12, okay? Kul, liman ma fis samawati wal ard. To whom belongs the heavens and the earth? Kul lillah. Now the ayah that I'd like to, or the bit of the ayah I'd like you to highlight is katabaha ala nafsihi rahma. He has ordained, kataba is like a law. He has made it a law on you that your nafs must always be kind. Kind. Rahma. What does he call him, this prophet? Rahmatul lil alameen. In any situation, he's talking about kindness here. So you could do that. You could put Allah there. You could put kind there. I'm not giving you a sticker, but that's what you will do. Right, 6:16. This is ultimate success. من يصرف عنه يومئذ فقد رحمه وذلك الفوز المبين. You will highlight فوز المبين. Now, what is the averted? What is averted on that day? Anybody who can keep away from punishment, that's it. That is now the punishment of the world is accentuated in the hereafter. What I'm trying to say is that the punishment of the world is the agitation of my soul. If I have agitation in my soul, it will be accentuated on the day of judgment as something that is tangible, right? So whatever is in here, sort it out now. Ask for forgiveness. Hatred, jealousy, resentment. We've got a good month, Rajab, and then you've got Sha'ban, and then you've got Ramadan. Start all clean on Laylatul Qadr. Like, all right, you good with that? Next one, 6:20. This is really cool. Most of you know this, right? So this is now calling out the Jews of Medina. The Jews of Medina actually moved from Philistine to Medina because their books told them that the last prophet would come to Medina. This is history. He would be in Yathrib. So they moved to Yathrib, they set up their businesses, they did all that because they knew the last prophet would be there. But they got pretty angry because the last prophet wasn't a Jew, he was an Arab. God help us, because Imam Zamana is not a Koji. Okay? You do know that, don't you? Definitely not Koja. Right? Okay, so we'll have to make him a member of the Jamaat. Sorry, I'm not getting into politics. Okay. So what does it say? الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ. Those who are given the book. يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاهُمْ. They recognized him just as they would recognize their sons. We too will recognize Imam Zamana Ajjalallahu Faraja. We will know. It's not like it's no rocket science. We've got so many descriptions. We won't forget. الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. But they didn't believe because he wasn't one of them. God forbid somebody of a different color comes in. Forget about different, Okay, I'm not going to go down this line, otherwise I'm going to get drawn into it. Like 6:32. It's really cute. And here you have a world. By the way, you've got recognize as a sticker to put on 6:20. And then 6:32, you've got the world. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ. Now let's try and see what this is trying to say. So it's trying to say that the life of this world is literally a game or entertainment. So I'll give you an example. I don't know whether you're like this, but I'm a bit like this. If I see a movie, one of those chick flicks, I get teary. Do you get teary when somebody's separated? And I cry. And then I have to be reminded this is only a movie. And my husband likes watching those movies where people shoot each other. So I have this blanket that I put over my head and I tell him, is it over? And he says, but it's a movie. And I said, but I can't see people hurt. I don't know whether you get like that. Maybe it's age, whatever it is. So here he's telling you, life is nothing but a movie. You are playing a certain role. A king who is a role in the movie, or a pauper who is a role in the movie, may come out of the movie and be completely different. The pauper might be the rich one and the king might be the poor one. So he's telling you, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ. It's only a play. وَلَلدَّارُ الْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَتَّقُونَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Why don't you realize this is just a game? It's nothing else. You've got to use this, take the best out of it. So even in my movie, whatever I watch, I take the best out of it and be able to use it in life to do something positive. Are you good? I don't know how many of you scroll through your Instagram feeds and I can see faces lighting up, okay? All your feeds. But you take something out of there that you can use in a positive way, okay? Are you good? Right, okay, next one. 6:50. Oh, okay. So there's 3 things here on 6:50, okay? 3 things. Cool. لا أقول لكم عندي خزائن الله. I'm not even telling you, the Prophet said, that I have the treasures of Allah. By extension, it means that Allah has treasures. ولا أعلم الغيب. I don't know the unseen. وَلَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ إِنِّي مَلَكٌ, I'm not even an angel. So the Prophet's making it very clear, I don't have the treasures of the heaven and the earth. What else is he saying? I don't know the unseen. What else is he saying? وَلَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ إِنِّي مَلَكٌ. So the idea is that when I ask, I know the first cause is Allah. Even if I ask any of the Masumin, I will say, Ya Allah, I ask you bihaqqi Ali or bihaqqi Fatima or bihaqqi Muhammad. Because he makes it very clear, this is Quran, okay? So he doesn't have it. And then he says, In attabi'u illa ma yuha. All I do is follow the instructions that are revealed to me, and I'm telling you what is revealed to me. I am but an envelope in which the message has been put in, and I make sure the message is transmitted exactly as I was asked to, and I live that message. That's what the Prophet is, right? I'm not trying to trivialize his role. I'm actually saying it's a really massive role, but he's saying, I do not have the treasures of Allah, I do not know the unseen, and I'm not an angel. You good with that? Now he says, هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الْأَعْمَى وَالْبَصِيرُ. Is the one who can see, or the one who is blind, A'ma is blind, is the one who is blind and the one who can see, are they the same? أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Don't you even think? So here you've got you've got a question mark. Okay? Question mark says think. Okay? Right, 659. Oh God, this is like, most of you know this ayah, I'm sure. I don't know, you read it in istikharas and I don't know, everywhere, okay? وَإِنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ. Mafati is in essence that which opens doors. So he has the treasures of the ghaib. This is such a beautiful ayah. لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُ. Nobody knows except him. Okay. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. He knows what is in the land and what is in the sea. وَمَا تَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرَقَةٍ إِلَّا يَعْلَمُهَا. Not even a tiny leaf falls that he knows about it. So how come I say, Ya Allah, you looked at everybody in Stanmore, you forgot me? You're not looking at me, yeah? Absolutely right. وَلَا حَبَّةٍ فِي ظُلُمَاتِ الْأَرْضِ. Even the little seed that you plant in the darkness of the earth. وَلَا رَتْبٍ وَلَا يَابِسٍ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. Nothing green, nothing dry. It's all in a clear book. There is nothing I don't know about. Nothing stops me from knowing about it. I know exactly what's going on in you. So when you sit there and you say, but where are you? I'm here. That's what he says. You good? So that ayah of Prophet Musa, you all know this. I have to hug her. Love your hugs. So Surah number 26, ayah 62. I say this all the time. I'll repeat it again. There's Musa, right? Fir'aun behind him. He can hear the hooves. In front is the Red Sea. With him are Bani Israel. And 26:61, they say, Inna lamudrikun, khalas, we're finished. Because Fir'aun behind us, Red Sea in front. What does he say? Kalla, inna ma'aya rabbi sayahadin. My Rabb is with me, he will guide me. That is the confidence you need to take you through. So when you think of this ayah, think of that. Right, straight after, and by the way, your stickers, you've got a leaf and some keys. وَهُوَ الَّذِي يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ. Now, there are two words in Arabic that you need to know. Yatawaffa is partial. Mutawaffa, which will come later on, is total. So he says, he partially takes you at night. وَيَعْلَمُ, and he knows مَا جَرَحَتُمْ بِالنَّهَارِ, what you did on that day. And we'll talk about death and sleep in a minute. ثُمَّ يَبْعَثُكُمْ فِيهِ, and then he raises you if he wants. لِيُقْضَى أَجَلُ مُسَمَّى, until, and remember أَجَلُ مُسَمَّى, we did, until the day of Qiyamah. ثُمَّ إِلَيْهِ مَرْجِعُكُمْ ثُمَّ يُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, and you will be returned to him and he will tell you what you did. Now, death and sleep. Three things in life. You have a body, you have life, and you have your consciousness. Yes? Okay. So partially, when you go to sleep, is your body still there? Yes. Your life is still there. Your consciousness, you don't know where you are when you're sleeping, do you? Do you know where you are? You don't. Well, if you wake up, it's different. If you sleep near a phone, you're bound to know where you are. But if you, that sleep, which is really deep sleep, your consciousness is not there. Now let's look at death, okay? Body, gone. Life, gone. Consciousness is there. It doesn't go. It's very, very clear. Can you see the difference between death and sleep here? And he's telling you, when I partially take you away at night, think about it. You don't know where you are. You just don't know where you are. Yet, when you die, you know exactly where you are. Are you good? Okay, think about it. Right, 63. Okay, say, tell them, put it before them. مَن يُنَجِّيكُم مِّن ظُلُمَاتِ الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. Who saves you in the darkness of the sea and or the land and the sea? تَدْعُونَهُ, it's when you call him, تَضَرُّعًا وَخُفْيًا. You actually, when you're stuck in, forget about land and sea and you're thinking about ships and you're thinking, say for example you were driving home and just here, you know this road, oh is it, I don't know what it's called, it comes straight across the mosque. Old Reading? No, it's not Old Reading. Is it Old Reading? No, that's my Wood Lane, right? So say for example, Warren Lane. So say you were middle of Warren Lane, everybody left the mosque and your car broke down. It's dark. It's dark, the car broke down, there's nobody behind, nobody in front. You don't want to come out of the car and walk to the mosque because you're halfway broken down. And there's this wind going and it's horrible. You're saying, Ya Allah, please, please, Ya Allah, I'll give you anything you want. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Please forgive me for all the sins I've done. Just get me out of this. And your phone's not working. No signal because Stanmore is bad. So you can't even call anyone. And you're stuck in this car. And there's no Ali Akbar at the door, sorry. So nobody there to help you. This is what it's saying. You think of Warren Lane, okay? تَضَرُّعًا وَخُفْيًا. You're scared. This is when this ayah comes in. He says, who is going to come to your help? You've watched enough movies where they can't get hold of the signal, right? And they're stuck. It can happen here on Warren Lane, right? And it's cold, like today, -2. So you don't even come out of the car. And you don't know what to do. So he's saying, لَإِنْ أَنْجَانَ مِنْ هَذِهِ لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. And that's the first thing you say. Ya Allah, you take me out of this, I'll do whatever you want. I'll pray namaz every day, I'll pray namaz, salatul layl, I'll fast 3 months, Rajab, Shaban, Ramadan, just get me out of this. Is that not what we say? Is that the ayah you're going to think about? Okay, good. That's why you've got a lifesavers ring there. Then he says, Kulillahu yunajikum minha. He will get you out of it. Because he told you in 1434 that he answers you. But, وَمِن kulli karb. And you know, karb in essence is a really difficult situation. That's what Karbala is known as. Really difficult situation is karb. Thumma antum tushrikun. And the moment you get out, you say, oh, I did it all by myself. So the idea here is the acknowledgement of Allah as your life-saving ring. You know that you've got the lifesavers ring. Are you good with that? Yeah. These ayah are good to recite when you're stuck. So if you don't know them, you know 63 and 64. Just say 663, 664. He knows them. Okay. So these are emergencies. If I were you, I'd write them on a post-it note and stick them in my car. Because they work. Okay. 676. Now 76, 77 and 78 go together. You all know the story. That's Prophet Ibrahim and his people used to worship the star, the moon and the sun. And the way he tackles it is really good. He doesn't say to them, don't worship the star, the sun and or the moon, star, the moon and the sun. He tells them, he went up to they had a place of worship. He goes up to the roof and he says, فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ. When it was night, رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. Kawkaban is a big star. He saw the biggest of stars. And he said, قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. My goodness, it's beautiful. Is this my Rabb? فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ. Now, afala is used for heavenly bodies. When they set, they're known as afala. So when the stars set, when you couldn't see the star anymore, he says, قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. I can't have a God that is not there 24/7. Same thing. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الْقَمَرَ. When he saw the moon, بَازِغًا قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. My goodness, this is great. Is this my Rabb? فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَئِن لَمْ يَهْدِ رَبِّي لَأَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الضَّالِينَ. I can't have a moon that sets either. And finally the sun. فَلَمَّا رَأَى الشَّمْسَ بَازِغَةً قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. This must be the God. Because هَذَا أَكْبَر. This is greater than anything I've seen before. And he's telling them. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَتْ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ إِنِّي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا مُشْرِكِينَ. So it was an idea, it was something to say, let's go through what you believe in, and then you tell me whether this is good or not. Okay. I highlighted that because the story is really lovely. Right, 6102. By the way, if you look on that page, on page 8, on ayah 83, 84, and 85, you've got a name of all the prophets. Can you see that? And when you read, when we read Dua Dawood, all these names come up, so maybe you want to highlight them. I've put them in there. I'm not going to go into the Siratul Mustaqima yet because we're not there, but we're going to go into ayah 102, okay? So you turn your page to ayah 102. Okay. ذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ. This is your Rabb. La ilaha illa hu. There is no God but Him. خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. You remember خَلَقَنَا? Tangible things. He created everything tangible. So what am I supposed to do? فَعْبُدُوهُ. Do His ibadah, submit to Him. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَكِيلٌ. Now the reason why I highlighted this particular one was because of the word wakil. Wakil is number 52 in Asma al-Husna. And wakil is in essence He to whom you entrust everything, your life. Do you remember in Surah Al-Imran, ayah 173? Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. So whenever you feel you're out of your depth, or you have been accused of something that you didn't do, or you feel that you're walking into the center and everybody's looking at you like you are at me now, right? So you continually read Ya Wakil. And it gives you the strength because you know you're handing it over to Him. In your Fajr namaz you read وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. It's similar to that. It's like a lawyer. I can't deal with, I don't know the law. I don't know the ins and outs of the court, but my lawyer does. And I hand it all over to him. So anytime you feel threatened in any way, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Are you good with that? The Prophet said that if you trusted in God, into the name Ya Wakil, then you would be like the birds who leave, this is the Prophet's hadith by the way, who leave in the morning hungry and they come back in the night satiated. So to trust in Wakil, these are some of the Asma al-Husna that we need to be able to use. Okay, 6103. Now here you've got, it's continuation, you've got some eyes. La tudrikuhul absar. You can't comprehend Him, you can't see Him. وَهُوَ يُدْرِكُ الْأَبْصَارِ. But He can see everything. Right? وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. He is Latif and Khabir. It reminds me of someone I know very well. And I remember when I went to, he was praying. It was here in the mosque, by the way. So he was praying and it was really dark. And I said, hello, can I now put the lights on? He said, why do you want to put the lights on? I said, but you're praying. No, you need lights on. He said, He can see me. Okay. He can see me. Why would I need the lights on? And that's the concept that we need to have. He knows. He can see. Okay. All right. 6118. Oh, you like this one. It's food. Okay. So 118, you've got there something that says halal, right? And we're going to go through this whole thing and why food and all the rest of it. Okay. Now, there was a cultural war, history. There was a cultural war in Medina because you had, first of all, the law of riba. Interest was made haram because that was exploiting human beings. So suddenly it came to a stage where you couldn't do business with those people who charged extortionate amount of interest, right? So that was a cultural war. Now came the order which says, فَكُلُوا مِمَّا ذُكِرَ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. Eat that on which Allah's name has been recited. It wasn't only Allah's name. You know, the concept of halal meat is not only about about just the name. It's about making sure that the animal is fed, is given water, that the animal is not killed in front of somebody else, right? So it doesn't see the pain. The animal is killed very swiftly, so the pain is less. And it's good for you to eat as well. I'm not going to go into the polemics of it. So now this cultural war extends, because before it was only riba, you didn't do business. Now you can't even share food with them. You couldn't share meat with them because their meat was different. Okay, so you can imagine the cultural war that went on in Medina. So that is ayah 108. And the reason also was they used to, now remember this is called Surah Al-An'am. They used to slaughter their animals in the name of their deities, so in the name of their gods. So they're told, don't slaughter them in the name of your gods, slaughter them in the name of the one God. Because not only did they slaughter them in the name of their deities, they made provisions. They said the best part is for men, the bits that are left over are for women, and they made their own rules up. I don't know about you, but in the Khoja communities before, men ate first and then women, although we knew ladies first. They still do it in some homes. They do it, don't they? And the women eat the leftovers. Anyway, we're not going to go into that. Okay, 120, okay? So 119 then tells you about why should you not eat. We're not going in there. But 120 actually says, وَذَرُوا ظَاهِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَبَاطِنَ. So let go. Don't do those things that are open and not open. Don't make your own rules up. I don't know. We make rules up left, right, and center. Because we heard when we came in this country that this big Father Christmas would come through this small chimney and fill our stockings, we told our children that. And they said, but Mama, how does that Father Christmas come in? We'll let him through the door. But he's supposed to come through the chimney. And then if you put a tooth under your pillow, the tooth fairy will come and leave you some money. Tell them the truth. You will come and put the money under there because you're so generous. Anyway, so here it's saying abandon that, because that's where it started. It started with these small things that they made up, and it continued into tradition, and it continued into stuff that wasn't right. Okay. Inna alladhina yaksibuna al-ithma sayujzawna bima kanu yaftarifun, and he's yaktarifun rather, and you will get what you earned. Now I know it's Rajab, and I'm going to take 2 minutes, so I got some time. I know it's Rajab, and everybody will have sufras. Do you have sufras? Right? So when we have sufras, we make our own rules up. We say this is parelu, and this is not parelu. That heard the munajat as well, this heard the munajat as well. But this you can't throw, that you can throw. I mean, where did we get this? So I'm going to talk about because this is here, I'm just going to talk a little bit about it because it's Rajab. I know you're going to have lots of sufras, okay? I'll give you one example. A long time ago, I was invited to a sufra to recite. And just before I left home, I was called and I was told, but I hear you're pregnant. I said, yeah, it's good. They said, but you can't come. Why? Because it might be a boy. And now mahrams are not allowed to come. He's in my tummy, he can't even see you, right? I didn't even know it was a boy then. But literally, these are the rules we make up. And this is what it's talking about. This is how An'am started. We made up rules. This was one woman who married into the Mughal Empire. She couldn't have children. And she said, when I have a child, I will do a sufra, I will feed the village. So when she wanted to feed the village, she brought her own kundas in, because she was a Hindu, she converted. She brought her own kundas in. And there is a weak hadith that said Imam Jafar Sadiq used to like milk and rice. Not kheer, milk and rice. And chana, the reason why chana were used was because it was something the rich and poor both could afford, and you had to soak them the night before, so people knew it was an important day. That's it. And she put these kundas that she wanted to give the poor people separately because she put money in it. Because she thought I didn't want people to know that they would get those separately. We put rings in them. I was invited to one in Nairobi where they had car keys in them. And everybody was fighting for Kyama car keys. You know, I'm not sure whether the car came with it, but anyway, that was how it worked. So here, this is how sin starts. And we make it so apparent that we make people convinced of these things. You know, we say, don't go under the ladder. Why? Bad luck. Oh, there's a black crow. Sadaqah kad. Really? Okay. Right, 6125. I hope I've got time for this. And this is really amazing. Okay, it's probably one of the. You've got to connect it to Surah Al-Inshirah, and I don't know that I'll be able to finish this, but I'd like to end on this one. Okay. فَمَن يُرِدِ اللَّهُ أَن يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ. One for whom, this was about food, but we'll do that another time. One for whom he wants you to submit, he will expand your chest. Now let's just talk about what sharaha means. You know, Surah Al-Inshirah, Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Sharaha is to stretch something so much that it becomes soft, that it becomes transparent. If you take some dough and you stretch it, you're able to see through the dough. You know that? That is sharaha. Sharaha is to be able to stretch the heart so much that it becomes soft, it becomes layyin, really soft. So he says, the only way you can submit to God is if you have a really soft heart or a soft chest. Okay? You cry easily. Okay. وَمَنْ يُرِدْ أَنْ يُذِلَّهُ. And you will find those who are lost, what do they have? صَدْرَهُ ضَيِّكَ. Dayyika is when something is constricted. When something is put, if you put somebody in a small cupboard and it's really tight, that's dayyik. Dayyik is also what you feel when you climb a mountain. I don't know whether you've ever climbed any mountains. I remember going to Mount Kilimanjaro a couple of years ago. And the higher you climb, the tighter your chest feels. That is dayyik. And you've got to put it together with the mountain. So opens up, you know, if you've got a big heart, you will submit. You know you've got a one of my daughters, when she was young, she couldn't say choyo. You know what choyo means? It means somebody who is miserly. So you say, Mom, this person is chaya. So that's, you don't forget it. That's zayyik, okay? So now he says, كَأَنَّمَا يَسَّعَدُ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Yasa'adu or yasa'ada is to climb a mountain. Yasa'ada is, I don't know how to put it to you, but I've drawn a mountain and then I put yasa'ada as in going up, okay? So he's saying everything will be difficult for them because their heart is so constricted. They find it so difficult. كَذَلِكَ يَجْعَلُ اللَّهُ رِجْسَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. And rijs is that which Allah has said is yuck. I can't even say anything else about it. Absolutely yuck. Okay? And that's how they behave. I'm going to give you one example before we end. You know when we have programs here, when there's so many people, like the day of Ashura, Yom Arafat, when there's so many people here, you will find people don't really worry, and people, I say all of us, we don't really worry provided I get a space, I get my chadar, and I get my more. I don't care how many people don't get it. Did you know that it's far better to let somebody else sit and you can stand outside than worry about your place and your whatever? Or when we leave a session and you're walking to get your shoes, you'll find children pushed, old people pushed, because I want to get to my car now. That's it. This is what this is talking about. That is rijs. Because he's saying, Yaj'alullahu rijsa ala alladhina la yu'minun. Iman is translated into amil salihat. This is rijs. It's not right. If I walked out of here and I saw on the floor a piece of thread or something there, if it was home, I'd pick it up. If I saw a mark on the wall at home, I'd clean it. If I go to the bathroom and it's dirty at home, I would clean it. Yet here I say, they're not cleaning very well. This is my home. Yes, no. Don't get upset with me, okay? What we did one day at workshop, we come through the back stairs. They're not there anymore. Now they've got this wonderful terrazzo, but they had carpets there. So we spilled crisps, yes, crisps, all down the stairs. And mothers came to pick up their children. And when they left, the crisps were ground into the carpet. Nobody picked it. That is rijs. Because everybody thought so the other person would pick it up. So have we got rijs in our head now? Good. Okay. So we're going to end here. Next Thursday, we've got Amal of Dawood. On your groups, I will, on the group, the WhatsApp group, I will inshallah put for you that book. I will also put for you the key concepts. You've already got the short concepts here. But hopefully, if I can, I'll try and put those stuff that you may want to journal for Amal Dawood. And I'll put the dua as well. Are you good with that? And then you can highlight it. And inshallah, I will see you next Thursday after Amal Dawood in the evening. And it is Bahrain. Okay? Can we have a Surah Al-Fatiha, please? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.